speech and your aggressive play calling. I think Skip Bayless called it venomous vengeance. Just curious what your thoughts are on that and kind of how your words have been skewed a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know Skip at all. I've never had a conversation with him. I've watched him enough to know how often he gets it wrong. So, I mean, that sounds about right. I know our locker room. I'm in the house 100% of the time. I know how our players felt going into that game. And I know what it takes to motivate our players. That's my job, to motivate our players, right? He has a job. I have a job too, to get out there and to perform on the field. But inside that house, they felt a certain way. They felt a certain way about a group stomping on the O. They felt a certain way about guys talking to him in the pregame. And I'm proud of those guys because what they decided to do is talk with their pads, right? They didn't want to do anything extra afterwards. They want to talk with their pads, and they did that on Saturday. It wouldn't matter if I was playing my 10-year-old son on the other sideline. I'm going to do everything I can to win. If I'm playing Bill Belichick, I'm going to do everything I can to win. Did I go for it on fourth down? Yeah, I have every game this year, right? I've gone for it 9 times. Did I go for a 2-point conversion? Yeah, I've done it 3 out of the 4 games this year. And if we play again tomorrow, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do everything I can to win a game and everything I can to motivate my team.
He's not wrong. And to be completely fair, Dan Lanning gets what it means to be a college football coach in today's level of the game. 800-224-2004. So naturally, that was Lanning, the second-year head coach of the Ducks, defending his players for the absolute beatdown that was Saturday afternoon at Autzen Stadium, 42-6 win over Colorado, mainly Deion Sanders. And many people have come out and defended Deion and Coach Prime and saying that teams were very much helping out and wanting to see Oregon just completely throttle the likes of the Buffaloes because Deion's different. Deion is unorthodox. Deion does things his way and only his way. And if his way is the only way that works, then guess what? People are going to have problems with it because it's going against the grain in college football. And I would understand that. I understand that there are going to be people who do not like Deion Sanders. I very much understand that there are people who are purists in college football. That's just the way life is. Whenever translation happens and you start to see change, whether it be in politics or whether it be in personnel looks when it comes to building an office or when it comes to how it affects your daily life, people are usually hesitant to change. But either you adapt to the change or you get left in the past. That's why we see the extinct dinosaurs in almost every single level of any profession possible. Anybody that does things one way and isn't willing to learn as the times continue to progress usually are out of a job, or they have to change career paths, or they have to begin a new chapter. Like, perfect example right now. In this industry, a lot of people do radio shows. A lot of people still work in covering the sport as best their ability. And they're funny and they're witty and they're charming and they do all the same song and dance. But in the same breath, they also have to learn how to be podcasters. They have to start doing other shows and they have to start building a rapport with fan bases. And then on top of that, they have to get into YouTube. And if you have the old school people who say, I'm only going to do a radio show, I'm not going to learn how to edit film, I'm not going to go help make myself more versatile, cool. Best of luck to you. Hopefully that pans out and you never find a way to lose your job, because once you do, you're dead in the water. Your career is done. And if you're not willing to make those necessary changes, you are just going to be another name that was a has-been, not a what is. And Dan Lanning gets that. Dan Lanning, for the last 3 weeks going up to this game, only heard about what Colorado was, who Colorado is, what Colorado is becoming. That's it. That's what everyone heard. And players had to deal with it. And they had to watch as the media came out and criticized everything that was going on. And they publicized this matchup. And how many people were saying, oh, this is bulletin board material for Colorado. Colorado, the team that is going to the Pac-12. And Dan Lanning, never once calling out Deion Sanders, never once calling out this roster, never once saying that this team hasn't won anything. Just stating facts. Colorado has not been a good enough team to where they can just lead the Pac-12 and think that the new changes are worth it. He's not wrong. Name the last time Colorado was relevant. They had one good year in the Pac-12 during their entire tenure, and this is the second time that they've been actually at the forefront and the spotlight. And the main reason why is because who was the guy calling the shots not underneath center, but inside the locker room? That's it. So Dan Lanning allows his players to feel a certain way. And the other thing is that Dan Lanning allows us as the fans to get a clear-cut look inside the locker room, a glimpse, not a full picture, just a glimpse of the locker room. And that's really important of what he said. Oh, I'm only showing you what you can see from the outside looking in. And he's not wrong. That 15-second clip that went viral about them going, us going for hits, they're going for clicks. That was one thing here. But the other thing that was really important about that conversation was we only saw those 15 seconds. Dan Lanning is inside that room 10 times out of 10. He knows what players are feeling. He understands the tripes and tribulations that they go through. And he also understands that they weren't getting the same amount of respect as Colorado going into the game, despite playing a very rigorous schedule. They had to travel to Lubbock, Texas, and take on a Texas Tech team that many people believed was going to be a front runner and a dark horse to win the Big 12. They had to go play against quality opponents leading up to this matchup, and they just throttled everybody. Portland State, win by 81. Hawaii, win by 55. And yet Colorado is the storyline of the game. So what does Dan Lanning do that's really also important here? He backs it up with information. He goes and he tells the creative media staff, hey, no. This game, don't film us. Don't go up to us and film us as we're getting ready for pregame rituals. Go film them. Go film Colorado players. And it went viral on Twitter yesterday. Did anybody watch it? Because it's a pretty damn good video where you see a player start rubbing his cleats in the big O in the middle of the field, where you hear guys like Shiloh Sanders say, I'm going to kill people today. I'm going to put you in the hospital. I'm ready to eat. And then you hear other people, I like to report a crime against murdered ducks. It's all on video, all on evidence. And players hear that and they go, okay, now it's time to go to work. Now it's time for us to actually put our money where our mouth is, and it's time for us to deliver. And instead of going and fighting during pre-games, and instead of getting in people's faces and allowing there to be more content against Oregon, they get it on film and they say, finally, okay, now the whistle's blown. Let's go ahead and lay ham. That's what you want. And Dan Lanning did nothing wrong. Dan Lanning said exactly what is usually said inside of pregame locker rooms. You hear pep talks, that's normal. That is a very normal thing. Just like what was said on the sidelines and what was said during the pregame by Colorado and Oregon players. That's normal. But you, as the usual college football fan, don't get to see that often because we aren't given the glimpse. All we see is people on the field talking mad smack. We don't actually get to hear what was being said. And so that 15 seconds of us hearing about the clicks content is not just clicks for the internet, but it is a glimpse of us only getting to see what was being said on the outside looking in. It is. And Dan Lanning's a damn good coach. But here's the part that really stands out about Dan Lanning. It's not that he allows his players to win on the football field, because he did. He absolutely said, go to work, prove that you are a better team, and then we're not going to go ahead and take our foot off the gas. We're here to send a message to the media and to those who are doubting us from the bigger perspective. We mean business. Dan Lanning decided to go ahead and give flowers to the future of Colorado football. Here's what he had to say on Deion Sanders and what he is building in Boulder.
I'm also grateful and can clearly acknowledge that the attention that we got this Saturday, in large part, was due to Deion and what he's doing to college football. And if anybody can't see what he's done for college football and how he's bringing excitement to college football, you're crazy, right? And I said that last week as well. He's done a lot for the game. He's building something over there. I think that's really, really clear.
So let's see. Handle business by actually winning a football game, proving to the college football media, yes, we mean business, giving credit where credit's due to Deion Sanders for what he's been able to implement and build for the long-term future, just like Deion said he was going to do, and allow your team to have buy-in and belief that I got your back when people are self-doubting you. Yeah, that's a good coach. That's exactly what you want on your team, and that's exactly what you want leading your program moving forward. Dan Lanning did nothing wrong. Dan Lanning did what any other college football coach did, but because of it is against Colorado and Deion Sanders, people are going to go ahead and chastise and criticize and call him out when everyone else would be doing the exact same thing. And to prove that he was the smartest man in the room on that football field that day, he got visual evidence of people disrespecting Autzen Stadium, disrespecting the Ducks, and making sure that everyone and their mother knew, hey, the reason why we are not going to take our foot off the gas is look at how they acted in the pregame. Beautiful. Tactic. Smart. Great coaches know how to do that. And right now, it is very hard to say that Dan Lanning is not proving to be a huge coach in the making and somebody that you would like to run through a wall for. I guarantee you everyone in Oregon does right now.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.